This podcast contains adult language and stories of true crime. If you don't like laughing, crying, or being horrified at the actions of other humans, this podcast is not for you.
Hey everybody, welcome to the first of our short stacks about the 50 states. What are we calling them?
How about Unsolved around the country?
Love it. Okay, welcome to that. We're going alphabetically, we decided. So we're starting with Alabama.
So we do have somewhat of a plan when it comes to these.
A little bit.
They're not always going to be a bummer.
For the iTunes?
Yeah.
She
just
hasn't
about
done that. She's like, girl, I don't flow like you flow. Chill out.
Well, also you were both talking to me.
Oh, I wanted to say that they're not always a bummer.
Yes. So
She's like, you two fucking fair-haired bitches on the other side of the table.
good Lord.
I hate you so
But wait, are you
much.
going to say, yeah, I am, if you shut up. Just kidding. I love them.
Go ahead.
But yes, basically, you won't always be getting this on our regular feed. These two series are only going to be on Patreon, but we wanted to give you a little taste. So you're getting one now. But for future, you have to go to Patreon to get them. Please. Please.
That'd be great.
Amen.
Okay.
Okay. So, and then just start it or do a separate intro for just Patreon.
Yeah.
We have to do it. Yeah. You'll be like, the state of Alabama was founded in.
I'm like, you get no intro. I'm just
Webster's
gonna say,
Dictionary defines Alabama.
My contract says I only do one intro per session. I'm sorry.
I do hate, I'm really bad at them.
Everybody's bad at them. They're super awkward.
Okay.
All right, so Alabama, take it.
Okay. And that's the end of our episode.
We said it was going to be short.
So with these 50 states episodes, we were trying to think of something fun we could do for each state since we're doing a bit of a tour. And Allison was brilliant, and she was like, you know how some states have those really weird laws that are super outdated? So we're going to try and find at least one for each state for you guys and kind of introduce the episode that way.
Yes.
So for Alabama, we found a whole slew.
A treasure trove, if you will.
So I'll just read them to you before Karlin starts with her story. I found this on an attorney's website who practices in Alabama. So he's listing all these weird laws, and he's like, some laws are antiquated and outdated or whatever, and super funny, but some laws are very serious, like trying to kind of advertise for his website. So that's why it's on there.
That's cute. Also,
Yeah, it's cute.
Don't worry, dude. We're going to link to your website in the show notes,
Don't
obviously.
worry.
You're a hustler,
Morris
and
Bar,
we appreciate
you got
that.
it. So, first law. In Alabama, dominoes must be played on Sundays.
That's ridiculous. That doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I don't know if they're trying to say only on Sundays or
Yeah.
every Sunday.
You must every Sunday.
Like after church, like that's the Lord's game.
Yes.
It's a game of the Sabbath.
In Alabama, it's illegal to wear a fake mustache in church because it could cause laughter.
No joy in church, people.
Oh my God.
In Mobile, Alabama, it's illegal to spray silly string.
Oh, that makes sense.
I mean, fair
Oh,
enough. Nobody likes that.
This one's a bummer for us. It's illegal to wear a mask in public.
What? We love doing that.
Oh my
Burn the
gosh.
cat mask.
In Alabama, it's illegal to put ice cream in your back pocket.
Alabama. We should not have to make a law about that, honeys. Come on.
No, these are so crazy. You doubt they're real, but
Well, in order
an
for
attorney said it was real.
no, but for in order for these to have become a law, something weird must have happened where
Yeah.
they were like, "That's it. All of these
Absolutely.
idiots have sticky asses. Now we have to make a law about ice cream in back pockets."
Yep. Like in the late 1800s, this was the thing.
They had pockets in the 1800s.
I don't know.
Not women.
So like a scoop or like a
course
sandwich?
Scoopers.
Any ice cream.
Just none?
It's serious.
Well, who would put a scoop
Where am
of
I going to
ice
keep?
cream in their
Okay.
back pocket?
All right. Bear wrestling matches are prohibited.
Makes sense.
Okay.
We lose more Alabamans that way.
Oh, and it's also illegal for a driver to be blindfolded while they're driving their vehicle.
Oh, that seems like a good one to keep around.
Some weird Alabama laws. I can't wait till
You're
we get to
welcome.
Oregon.
Pull your blindfolds off, everybody.
All right.
Buckle up.
Let's do it, KB.
All right. I chose a more recent one. I mean, for us, all of these things are going to seem really recent because we're used to covering really old mysteries.
Oh, that's funny.
But this one takes place in 2001, and it is the murder of Shannon Nicole Paulk from Ottawa County, Alabama. On Thursday, August 16th, 2001, Shannon Nicole Paulk, an 11-year-old white female, went missing. She had been left with her older sister while her mom went to work. Her sister woke up around 9 a.m. and her sister was already gone. This was pretty normal for her to get up, make herself breakfast, and go out to play with other kids. She lived in a trailer park, so it was like her normal thing to get up and get herself ready and go out and play with everyone. So it's believed this is what she did that day. She was said to be seen talking to an unknown male in a vehicle in Candlestick Trailer Park where she lived, and she was not seen again after that.
No.
A composite was created of the man Shannon was seen with. He was a white male, 30 to 40 years old, and the whole description of him was really specific. The most notable feature was a mole beneath his right eye, but it was also noted that he was like burly with kind of like tan arms, so he looked like somebody who maybe worked outside or in
Oh,
construction.
wow. So a lot of people got really good looks at him.
I'm picturing just white, but just tan arms. But
Just
white everywhere
extreme
else.
farmer's tan.
Farmer's tan. Yeah.
No, but one of the things that I read even described like the direction the hairs were coming out of the mole. Like it was specific.
No.
Well, I mean, it's pretty ballsy to kidnap a kid in broad daylight.
Yeah.
Especially with that mole on your face.
And in a trailer park, but also with a big mole.
Yeah.
It's like the second Austin Powers.
Yes, that's literally what just flashed through my mind. And I don't know why I didn't think of that till
splashed
just
in
now. Flashed through my mind.
Splashed in
Just a mole splashing around in Alabama.
Oh my God.
In a trailer park.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
So on October 6th, 2001, 60 days after she had gone missing, Shannon's remains
No.
were found located off of Ottawa County Road 66 in the Ottawa County Wildlife Management Area.
God.
This was a public hunting area around 10 miles north of town, and her body was discovered by some rabbit hunters. So this is where I kind of have an awkward transition because people were looking for her, but there were a couple like roadblocks because it was 2001. So after 9/11, like basically the focus on her search was removed because of 9/11. So the FBI kept looking for her, but the other groups that were looking for her had to stop.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. In July 2007, Polly Perrette, I think I'm saying that right, an actress best known for her role on the television series in NCIS, offered a $10,000 reward for information in the case.
Is she like the goth girl?
It says she played Abby Shudo.
Yeah, I think that's the goth girl. I never watched it, but that show has a goth girl. And
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think
I didn't
goth
know
girl
who she
did it.
was, and I didn't look it up. But
Yeah, why would you?
so it doubled the $10,000 reward previously offered by the Pratville City Council. And she grew up kind of near that area, which was why she was so invested in it.
So nice.
I love when people do that.
I know.
Yeah.
What was it? Winona Ryder. Was it the girl that created the Amber Alert? Like there. Oh no,
did
Polly
she?
Class. Winona Ryder grew up in the town that Polly Class grew up in, and when Polly Class went missing, Winona Ryder was like really involved with like
Well, yeah, and it's just
trying
like
to
I
get
love
people
when
to pay
someone
attention.
uses their
fame for
fame
good
and their
instead of
money
evil. Yeah.
for good. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
September 8th, 2007, a report on Paulk's case is broadcast on America's Most Wanted. It was the first of numerous segments broadcast over the years. 2016, the Alabama Bureau of Investigation's Cold Case Unit begins working on Shannon's case exclusively. 16 years passed after Shannon's death, and no arrests had been made in her killing. In February 2017, a special investigative grand jury was impaneled to look into the case. It was the first such grand jury formed in Ottawa County for at least the past 25 years. Usually, a grand jury's term is a year.
Wow.
The group of 18 people has met periodically. DA Randall Houston said, seating a grand jury gives investigators more options, Houston said in February 2017. For the last year, the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency's Cold Case Unit has been looking into Shannon's case exclusively, he said. Just getting the amount of evidence from all agencies that are working the case together in one place is an accomplishment in itself. Technology has improved so that evidence that was collected then that couldn't be tested for forensic evidence can now be tested. He said, I honestly feel we have the best chance of solving this case now than we have had in the past 16 years.
So was there DNA found?
That's what I couldn't really find much about, but I think that there had to be something because they talk multiple times about how there's more stuff they can look into now, and there's even, well, I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
So the grand jury has legal powers that can move the investigation along, Houston said recently. It's not illegal to lie to the police during an interview, he said. It is illegal to lie to the grand jury. The grand jury can force you to comply with their orders.
Wow.
So basically, if you're found to be lying in the court of law after oath, they can take legal action on you.
So is that kind of one of the reasons why they develop a grand jury for those?
I think so. And I meant to look into like
I feel like
what the things are you have to go to grand jury.
Yeah, because I feel like whenever I think of a grand jury, I think of the DA going to the grand jury to decide whether or not to take something to trial. So I always think of the grand jury as the first step in the legal process that decides whether or not you have enough evidence to continue forward.
Okay, that's what I was wondering because
But I guess they have different roles.
in my mind I was like, do you have to have like a really prime suspect for it to move to that or
I would think so.
not?
Well, and I think also sometimes they use grand juries to rule if, even though they haven't found a body, like I know they found a body in this case, but if they haven't found a body, they can still rule that missing person dead, so they can move forward. Is that right? So I think they might use grand juries for different things, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's
Okay.
it. Just puts a little more legality on the pressure on.
And
the
I did forget to
investigation.
say at the very beginning, like immediately her case was treated as a homicide. That was not like a question.
Because this was 2001. It wasn't 1980 where they were like, oh, maybe
She
he was
ran
part of
away.
the carnival and she ran away with
Oh
him.
my God. Yes. Yes.
Oh, it's so awful.
So, within 48 hours of the panel beginning its work in 2017, it was announced that the suspect composite drawing that had been published and broadcast across the nation wasn't credible.
What?
So it was
Someone lied about the description?
It was during the grand jury interviews that they were able to determine that the composite, which was composed from eyewitness accounts from children who are now adults,
No.
were not credible. Houston
Kids
says,
are such narcs, but when you need them, they never come through.
well, Houston really actually spoke well about this because, of course, that is awful and so sad. But he says that the children believed they were helping. He says they
I
were.
was going to say, it was so specific, the direction the mole hairs were going
Yeah,
in. You had to
so-
be really close.
So what he said was they were inaccurate about when they saw what they saw.
okay, so not
But
the
then another article I read said that one young girl who gave the information that helped create the composite concocted it, hoping to help the investigation.
Oh, I could totally see kids doing that and not maliciously.
No,
Oh,
they
they
just
don't
wanna
know.
help.
Yeah.
Oh,
so-
that's awful. So they're back to like negative square one.
Well, and like, again, he spoke so well about this because he was like, it's not really like a setback. It's just unfortunate that for 16 years, they've been broadcasting this image, putting it on
why-
television, telling people about it, using it as to follow all the leads they were following.
So, and the people who were the children at the time never came forward because they were afraid.
That's what I'm not sure. I would imagine so because
You gotta
that
feel pretty
composite was
shitty.
well known, especially in that area.
Yeah.
So like,
And they probably, the whole town knew that, like, little Sally Johnson said that, you know.
yeah.
So
And I
that-
couldn't find the name of the girl or the children or whatever. But
It is surprising to me that the police put that much into the children's eyewitness account of what he looked like.
Well,
Like,
but if that's all you have.
it was one of the few things they had to go on. And I tried so hard, but I couldn't find anything about like the state of the body that was found. So I,
I was
don't
going to
know.
say, like, because how long, 3 months until they found her? Was that what it said? Like, I'm just trying to think of, like, in terms of DNA.
60
and, like,
days, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, 2 months, so, like, DNA and decomposition. There's still, like, plenty of, there would still be a DNA to go by.
Yeah.
Especially, like,
And
I'm
other
not
things
excited
around
about this,
the
but if she had
scene.
been sexually assaulted.
right.
You know.
Yeah, and I thought for sure that part would have been
Gosh,
included
it's
if
so
they knew
awful.
that.
Yeah.
So it's just, and this is another reason I wanted to do this case, even though there's so little information about it, because if you know about it or if you live in that area, I'm sure you know about it. And it's important that you know that that piece of
That
evidence
composite.
is scratched.
Yeah.
Like we don't,
So if you've been looking
none
for
of
that
it,
guy,
none of it's credible.
wow.
Yeah.
So they have no
How
idea what
heartbreaking
this
for the police too.
person, I know.
That worked on the case the whole time, or
Yeah.
I know. Because
Totally.
you know that this
So
case
many
for this.
ways
Well,
wasted
and he said they
hours.
followed
Of course
probably
they did.
hundreds of leads.
I'm sure they did.
Like based on that description of people calling and saying, I know a guy
I know
that
a
looks
guy
like
that
that.
has a mole.
This is this.
And what's
it's
so
all-
maddening too is the real guy, who we still don't know who it is, probably saw that and was like, "Good, thank God,
Thank
I'm
God.
scot free."
Oh my God, yes. I didn't
Yeah.
even think of
that
that.
looks nothing like me or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. So after this happened, the DA, Randall Houston, has called to keep the grand jury in place to continue to review the investigation.
I would say that they're definitely being helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He reminds us that the killer could be dead already, but they would still like to know that. Houston says the information they have obtained from the grand jury has provided a lot of new leads to follow, and in some ways they have too many leads, but they have to follow them all, and it will take time. So this is still all happening right now.
Wow.
We'll set our Google alert for this one
Yes,
too.
totally. They do also now have more access to forensic testing that they didn't have in the past, so they're waiting for more info from the testing, but they said that due to the case being a cold case, it's low priority on the list for testing.
And you know that county doesn't have a lot of money, like a small
Yeah.
county in Alabama, you know.
probably not.
Totally.
Cold case, they probably have like a certain amount of funds allocated and that's it.
So one other thing I found on this case that I just wanted to mention is the theory that Shannon's murder is a part of a series of killings by an anniversary killer.
Oh.
No.
Well, usually if you're a child murderer, you don't do it just one time, you know, unless it's your own child.
Yeah.
Like
Right,
people
but
that
right.
kill children, if they aren't stopped, will continue doing it.
So awful.
Yeah, because imagine like if you have any kind of like self-reflection, and I'm assuming that these children, the people now adults, like this guy's been out there for 16 years because as a kid you lied, even though you thought you were doing something good and you didn't come forward. Like, you know, like just living with that has to feel pretty
Yeah.
shitty.
Yeah. So an article, I could only find one like true article about this that was from 2001. So I think obviously the focus is just on like figuring out what happened to Shannon.
Yeah.
But so the article from 2001 looked into this idea, saying investigators believe Shannon's case is linked to those of Heaven Lachey Ross of Northport and Teresa Melissa Dean of Twiggs County, Georgia. A statement cited striking similarities among the three cases. All three girls were 11 years old. All three were abducted from trailer parks where they lived.
What?
All three were the youngest daughter in their respective families.
Whoa.
All three lived in suburbs outside of larger cities, Montgomery, Birmingham, and Atlanta. All three were found in wilderness refuges nearby. All three girls, I know, all three girls disappeared 2 years apart, but within days of each other in August. In all three cases, construction such as commercial construction, roadwork, or bridge building was being done nearby. Which I think that was thrown in there before they debunked this composite. But
That's really interesting that they were able to cross-check all of that.
yeah.
Unless those things are all just really common in those areas. I don't know. But that's pretty fascinating that they connected, like, what was
Especially
that, 6
in different
things?
states.
Well, and I
too.
think
Yeah.
the thing that caught people's attention was the timing. So,
Yeah.
Pratville Police Sergeant Robert Furlong, the leading investigator in the Paulk case, declined to go into details in the investigation, but said that similar circumstances in each case led detectives to take a closer look at the Dean and Ross disappearances. Teresa Dean was last seen on August 15th, 1999, near her home. Shannon Paulk disappeared 2 years and a day after Teresa Dean. Heaven Ross was abducted 2 years and 3 days after Shannon.
Wow.
So they're all like...
Oh, like 1, 2, 3.
Teresa's body was never found, and Heaven's was found 3 years after her disappearance in an abandoned house. So,
My gosh.
yeah. So that article was from 2001, and I was like, well, maybe it sounds like they're not really looking at this anymore, but Web Sleuths is all over it.
That's awesome. I love when Web Sleuth is all over something.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
So their comments didn't really help me find a lot more on it, but they're all looking into that aspect of it. a lot.
Wow.
Wow. No, it's so sad.
I know. It's so sad.
Wow. So that's,
So tell us her name again.
Shannon Nicole Paulk.
Okay.
and
Paulk.
Shannon Nicole Paulk. And what, the Center of Missing and Exploited Children? Is that the best place to direct people if they have any information?
Ooh, I meant to put down the police line. Ah, I got it.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Okay, so if you have information on Shannon, you can call the Pratville Police Department at 334-361-3671.
Cool. Well, Alabama.
Yeah.
Man, as we go state to state. Oh, we also want to mention that not all of these are going to be supreme bummers.
No.
Because we don't want all of the extra content that we give you guys to be all about the murder of children and women
Yeah.
by
Yes.
men.
Yeah. One of the things we like about UM is that it sprinkles in those silly segments that are ridiculous that we can laugh about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these series are not going to have that. So we decided that the 50 states can be other unsolved things that are not always murders.
However, Alaska is a murder. But then we'll switch it up.
I mean, a good percent probably will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
So-
bummers, but like these are true crime fans, so they're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. All right.
Thank you. Good job, KB.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And I hate all of you already.
This is why we don't record
We're
at 5:30
mad.
in the afternoon.
We so mad. Karlin, you gotta talk a lot. Oh, now I feel like I can hear her better.
Yeah. It's I don't
Okay,
give a
you're gonna have to do more talking.
I think
than
that you could the whole time.
I don't care if
No,
I
I
can hear
can't
you.
now. I can't hear you.
Why can I hear me and you can't hear me?
It's fine. I can hear you.
I don't understand.
But that's different because we say turn me up. Isn't that just turning
This is
up
turning up what you are able to hear.
Yeah.
everywhere?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, it
Everybody-
doesn't make sense that you can hear Allie and not me.
that's right.
Okay.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
fuck
Okay,
me.
Okay, is
just
that good
unplug
enough
it.
to-
I think just shut it down. Just shut it the fuck down.